One of the biggest challenges facing F&B operators in hotels today is always profit. So ahead of a Wundermart event tonight in Tower Bridge in London, I managed to grab the co-founder, Laurens de Kleine, to talk about how Wundermart is helping to create profit opportunities for operators, and also a new solution that they're bringing out that's really going to challenge the breakfast operation. Can't wait to share this episode with you, so let's get on with it.
So there's a kind of error in the system. The thing if you look at it from a distance, you see the error in the system, and the error in the system is hotels are not capable to give a profitable answer on the demand of consumers of today. I think if you dive into that and also speak to the operators, and you speak to the brands, everybody of course is willing to define a kind of a solution. It's more about who is taking ownership for the executional level of F&B concepts. We see that there are some design errors into the system of the breakfast. If you just let go, and of course we understand it's difficult if you're in it for years and for decades in the breakfast as an industry. We're like, forget about what you have, what you do. Start with a new beginning.
You end up with this buffet that everyone kind of knows you're being ripped off of because the quality's not good enough. Plus, like the baked small pastries that are getting smaller, prime example. Whereas what we looked at was to offer choice with granolas and nuts and yogurts and things like that. But then increase the quality. Yeah. So people are kind of looking, going, okay, I might only be able to get a granola bowl, some fruit, some pastries, coffee, juices, but it's great quality. I think the consumer now, because they got used to going to coffee houses with great pastries where the coffee is and things like that, they're used to getting great quality, and I think that's where they see the value more than this huge buffet that is just average. So I grew up in hotels. I worked in luxury hotels, Dorchester Collection, Intercontinental, and then I went into independent restaurants and moved to the Middle East. What I found working in those independent restaurants is independent restaurants and restaurateurs think in a really different way to what we do in hotels. And I just thought there's a real value in bringing some of that mindset back into the hotel operation to just think a little bit differently. The way I started this, it was in Las Vegas and it was in front of a room full of Americans. So you could get them to pretty much do anything with this British accent. Does anyone know the connection between these three things? In the early 2000s, there were the three things that everybody told Steve Jobs he couldn't put in the palm of your hand. What the iPhone changed wasn't necessarily the way we listened to music, it wasn't the way we took phone calls, and it wasn't the way that we took pictures. It was the way we engaged with everyday life. And what it allowed us to do was curate everything that we do on a day-to-day basis.
Looking to what do consumers of today want for breakfast. First it was done by people with Excel sheets, trial and error. Now it's been done by one database, and the hotel simply gets back insights about what we did to increase the profit, to get better products in. If you're, for example, a hotel operator running 20, 30 hotels in different countries in Europe, you just log into the portal and you see the performance of all of them in one portal.
Three things that really came out of what the influence of the digital age has brought. One is convenience, the other one is innovation, and execution, so speed of execution. And just to back it up with some data, 65% of hotel guests are now booking rooms because of F&B. But that's not F&B within the hotel, that's now F&B locally. What they're now doing is they're going on Google, they're finding the restaurants they want to eat, and they're finding the hotels slap bang in the middle, and that's where they're booking the hotel. The other one is 82% of millennials and Gen Z traveled during 2024. It's a huge stat of how the generations are changing. And the last one is that 45% of Gen Z are now willing to pay more for elevated experiences, which is ironic that technically the people with the least income, because they're the youngest of us all, are now willing to pay more if we get it absolutely right. And 72% of customers want immediate service. We stood by the thing that really backs this up. We've been here today since about 2:30 watching people come on streams for that instant water, instant Coke. It's really a testament of what's happening and backing up this stat. I've never thought about price.
No.
I've gone in, I've got the product, I've gone to the checkout, I've bought the product. And my assumption is because it's in this shop, it's going to be well priced. It's amazing how that psychology can help drive sales as well, because people just think, well, it's not in a minibar in a bedroom, it's not going to be as expensive as that.
No, I
it's
agree.
a good solution. And when I was, as you were talking, I was thinking about people downstairs just walking into the shop and doing the same. Not one of them looked at, they just got the water out of the fridge and went to the scanned and paid. And I think there's a huge thing in that in terms of back to your convenience and psychology and the way we all interact with life now, how this solution can help offer normality. 80% of family trips now are being influenced by Gen Z. If we're not looking at those Gen Z customers and guests, we're missing a real trick on the decision makers that are involved in the whole stay and the experience. Personalisation, birthdays, low-hanging fruit. This was a talk to operators. It was going, if you're not getting the birthdays of every single guest coming into your F&B, you're missing a trick. And the final one is recognition. So when you do all of this, when you're building that personalisation, when you're bringing people back, their expectation is that if they've told you their birthday and they've booked on the birthday, that you're going to recognise the birthday and acknowledge it. Otherwise, it's a letdown. It's the easiest one to start with. It's the easiest one to collect. It's the one that guests will give you the most easiest because they want the return gift that they get from it. And these guys, the old Gen Zers who are now influencing travel, they value personalisation, the demand experience, and the crave convenience.